Hey, I'm being recorded, not recorded, but I'm being live here on StreamYard, and this is going to YouTube. I'm trying to start a podcast, and it's not easy. I mean, most of these podcast software companies, they don't really help you learn what you need to know. And so I'm just going to use my own methods of trying to get started because you have to go through hell basically to get you have to, do a bunch of stuff to get started and everything. But my podcast today is about the death of customer service. And what I mean by that is you probably noticed already that when you try to contact somebody on the phone, you don't get a live person right away. It's going to go through a computer system that's totally doesn't know anything. And the thing that pisses me off the most is the computer system always says this: I can understand complete sentences. Okay. And then you tell them what the sentence is, and then they say, I do not understand. And it's the computer system that says it can understand complete sentences. Okay, that's ridiculous. They don't understand complete sentences. They're a bunch of idiot computers. So all this stuff is happening now. I don't know how many times I've run into problems with that issue. Trying to get a live person, and every time I try to get a live person, I'm just not getting a live person. I'm talking to a stupid computer that says it can understand complete sentences, but you yell and scream into your phone because the stupid thing doesn't understand you, even though it says I can understand complete sentences. Blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't. So that's what's going to happen, I think, in the future. I mean, it's getting worse and worse if you haven't noticed already. You have a problem, it's going to be going through a computer. Okay, when you go to the store, it may be a little bit different. But always have problems. There hardly isn't a day that goes by when I don't have problems with somebody at a store like Walmart, whatever, even at restaurants and stuff like that. And, companies I work with, trying to get a business off the ground here. And this year alone, I've probably spent $6,000 of trying to get a website built. I tried to get a book published. And here recently, I tried to get another website built. And all these companies that I've worked with, they claim that they're the best. Okay, they're the best in what they do. They rank number one on Google, whatever the case may be. So I was working with this uh, website building company out of California, and it wasn't too long before I started having problems, and problem after problem after problem with these idiots. Okay, and I spent I don't know how much money on those guys, but it took me forever to get my money back because they always tell you, you know, if you change of mind, wasn't a change of mind. I didn't change my mind, to go with another company. I wanted them to do their jobs, and they weren't doing their jobs. And so I had nothing but problems with this company out of California. And then I tried starting publishing a book after that, and I was working with a company out of Florida, which basically is in New York, but they have, uh, you know, branches in Florida, and I had nothing but problems with those guys. One of the biggest problems I had with them, I had uh, like an account representative or whatever you want to call him, who was working with trying to help me get my book up, get a cover design and all this other stuff, help me build a website for my book and all this kind of stuff. And I spent several thousands of dollars with those guys. About $3,000 I spent with those guys. And then I started having problems with these account managers were working with me. I don't have any problems with people from other countries, but the problem, working for other companies here in the United States, but the problem is they don't seem to understand you. Okay, that's the problem I have. They don't understand you, and you have to explain yourself over and over and over and over and over again, and it's a pain in the fucking neck. Okay, and I probably can't say that. It'll probably get deleted, but it's a pain in the neck. Okay, that you can't work with these people because they're from another country, and you have this language barrier. I mean, I don't know what country they're from, but it sounds like a lot of them are from India, Pakistan. You can tell by their dialogue that they're from those kind of countries. Anyway, I started working with one person. I had trouble with him, and I told him I didn't want to work with him anymore. And he called me master. Okay, he was calling me master, like a master in kung fu or something. Okay, I'm a master sergeant, and then I guess because I was a master sergeant, he started calling me master. Anyway, I was having nothing but problems with that guy, and so then they transferred me to a different person, and I started having problems with that guy, and I was yelling and screaming at him. And another problem I had was all all these people I was working with, they're in a call center, so all you hear is this background noise. You can't hear what they're saying. You can't understand what they're saying. And I just got ticked off because I couldn't understand you know what they were saying, and I had basically had to yell and scream at them because I couldn't hear because of all the background noise. I couldn't hear myself even think. So that was two people that I was working with. Then they sent me to a third person, and this guy, supervisor, whatever, told me he was going to give me my money back if I had problems with this guy. And it wasn't long after that, because he wasn't doing his job either. It wasn't long after that I told him, I says, well, hey, I'm sick and tired of your company, and none of these people do their jobs. They have these things called deliverables, which is, well, they're going to do this, this, this for you. And they gave me a big long sheet that's over 3 pages long of everything that they're going to do for me. There must have been 100 different things they're going to do for me. I don't remember. I don't know how many it was, but it was a lot. And they started doing some of those things, but they weren't doing other things. I kept on telling them, you need to do this. You need to. They talked about a road plan, but they never came up with a road plan. They didn't give me a road plan. Okay. And so that's three company. I mean, that's second company right there. So I went through 3 people on that, and none of them would help me get my issue resolved. And it took me forever to get my money back with those guys. But I finally got it back. $3,000 I spent with those idiots, and I finally got my money back on all that stuff. But it took me several months to get my money back because I had to keep fighting. And they just said, "Well, we're going to send you this money, and expect it to receive it in like 10 to 12 days or whatever." Well, I never did receive it, so I had to file a dispute with my bank, and that's how I got my money back. Okay, now here not too long ago, I was trying to get a logo for my company that I just built, and come to find out, they gave me a logo, but they wanted to help me get they said, well, we can do your website too. You need a website built. Yeah, I need a website built. But these people were from Chicago. So I said, we figured, well, if they're pretty close to where I live, maybe they'll do okay. So I started working with those guys. And it wasn't long. I mean, within the first couple of days, I don't remember how many days it was actually, but it was a relatively short time frame. The guy called me up and sent me to a link of my website, but it had some problems. I couldn't see the whole website. It's basically what it was a JPEG thing, and he didn't tell me that. It was just a JPEG, so I couldn't see the whole website. It was just a little strip of the website. It was like maybe 5 inches long, and it was only like maybe an inch wide or something. I couldn't see the whole thing, so I couldn't tell him, And I was trying to explain to him, the problems I was having, and he was just degrading me, doing all kinds of stuff. You're an idiot, all this kind of stuff. And I was yelling and screaming and cussing at him, swearing at him, everything I could think of to get him to shut up and help me with this problem. I was trying to explain to him what the problem was. I was explaining to him what I saw on my computer, and I couldn't get it to work. Okay. And then after I don't know if it was that day or the next day, is finally figured out what was wrong. Because it was a JPEG, I had to do certain things to make it, bigger and make it wider so I can see what it was. I could see everything. So basically, it was just a JPEG of my website, and then, it just got worse and worse and worse with the guy I was working with. Just every day after day, every time I talked to this guy, he kept making me feel inferior, telling me I was a bad customer, all this kind of crap. I told him about, I was trying to teach him that no, you don't treat people like that. You don't. So I finally said I'm going to pull the plug on you, and now I'm in the process of trying to get a refund from those guys. Over $1,000 I spent with those guys, and now who knows if I'm going to get a refund or not, because in the refund policy it has all this list of different things they're not going to give you a refund on, but they will give you a refund on this, that, and everything else. But there was nothing in the policy that I saw where give you a refund if their employees don't treat the customer right. They treat you like trash, and that's basically what happened. He treated me like trash, and they got the website up and running. And I was pleased with the website. It was just of how they treated me, the guy, how he treated me, and I explained to him how you just don't treat people like the way he was treating me, but he did anyway. And so, what the whole point of this podcast is to help you understand that it's going to get worse for us. It's going to get worse for us as consumers, in my opinion. It's going to get really super bad. It's going to get to the point where you cannot get a live person, because it's all going to be run by AI. And you probably noticed that already. A lot of issues that you probably going through and trying to, get to a live person, because they're 200 miles away or something. Who knows where they're at. So I guess my suggestion would be to work with companies that are in your local area, so you don't have those kind of problems. You can go to them, physically go to them, because they're not, they're in your town or city, whatever, and, hash out your concerns there. But for the long part, I'm predicting that it's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse because in the last year or so, trying to start a business and working with these people that are from different countries, which is getting worse, that and that as well. I don't have any problems with people from different countries working here in the United States or working for different companies. I'm not trying to degrade them on that. They seem to understand English, okay, but then when you start talking to them, they don't seem to understand what you're saying, and you have to repeat yourself over and over again. And a lot of times, I can't understand what they're saying because they have that accent, from India, Pakistan, wherever they're from. They have that accent, and I can't understand what they're saying, and I have to have them repeat what they said, and it's over and over again. And then you run into problems with, if you do get a live person, if they're in a call center, like I was, and dealing with all that background noise, okay? So these are the kind of things that I'm going to be discussing in my podcast. I'm working on this podcast and I'm working with all these different companies, and I can't, first of all, I can't seem to get help when I need it. You have to go through these tutorials. And there's the pain in that, because you can't find what you want in those tutorials. You have to watch each and every one of those tutorials I've watched 5 or 6 tutorials from this one company already, and I still can't find what I'm looking for or how to get the what I want broadcasted. And it's real nice and everything because I can basically set up a website on my podcast, but then you have to do this, you have to get a domain name, you have to go through a whole bunch of crap, just to get your podcast up and running. And it's a pain in the neck. And I just don't understand it. This one here, StreamYard, I'm using StreamYard here. It's pretty nice. I mean, I don't have a whole bunch of. I can go live as soon as I want to. And basically start my maybe my podcast, maybe just using this thing. But all these other ones, they're nice as well. But to try to go live, it's a pain in the neck because I can't find anything to help me go live. There's no tools. There's nothing there. Using this company here, which is StreamYard. Yeah, that's what it is, StreamYard. It's really nice, okay, because I can get started pretty quick. I go onto YouTube. I can go onto LinkedIn. So I can broadcast right away to all these different places, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, all these different companies. I can start broadcasting right away. And that's really nice. That's what I like about StreamYard. Now, all this other stuff that I want to do is having a co-host, and so I have to figure out. I got different ways down here at the at the bottom. You can't see my screen, but there's different ways where I can set it up like a Zoom call, have different people, myself and 2 others, or myself and who knows how many others I can have on here because I haven't really, experimented with it, so to speak. So I'm gonna close this broadcast out, but that's what my podcast is going to be about. Let's see here. I'm going to go out of what I was doing and find unknown caller. Hold on. Hello.
Hello.
Who's this?
I'm calling for the National Police Trooper.
I don't want, sir. Hey, sir, you need to
Okay. Well, thank you for your time and have
stop
a great
by.
rest